Hello, Melissa. Delighted to be chatting with you. How's life in New York, Hudson Valley?
It's booming here. A lot of construction, a lot of houses for sale, a lot of people from the city moving in.
Oh yeah,
But it's also definitely country. Recently, I actually saw a coyote coming out of the woods by my house, so
yeah.
that was one way to start the morning.
When I think of New York, I think of big skyscrapers and a city.
Oh, Manhattan, yeah. I go to Manhattan a lot for my medical appointments, so I get to see all those buildings.
Okay, there's no building work on the go, is that? Because it looks like your screen's moving.
I'm
It's
sorry.
just stopped. It's stopped now. I was thinking there was like I don't know, building work, someone putting basements in next door or something. But Melissa, before we talk about your writing, can you tell me what you do for hobbies? What you do to relax? If you get time amongst all your writing.
Sure. I basically watch a lot of YouTube, but I don't watch like the silly videos. I watch a lot of Film Courage, Big Bang, a lot of TED Talks. And
Oh yeah.
actually, funny story, there was a TED Talk about owning your face, which
What?
inspired me to write.
Owning your face? What's that?
Yeah. Owning your face. It was actually very good, and the gentleman was talking about his own face during it.
Yeah.
And it actually inspired me to write a dystopian story called That's Not My Face.
Do you know, I've read a couple of clips from your stories today, and there's a couple there. You've got a character. I'm not sure if this is name's keeper, but whether the faces moves or something, they do things with the face.
Oh, yeah, well that's not my face. That's a dystopian story
Yeah,
where the character is not happy with how he looks, so
yeah.
he literally has his face removed and he has someone else's face put on. But he gets more than he asked for at the end.
Okay, like that character on Game of Thrones. Did you watch that at all? Did you watch it? I should say.
Oh, oh yeah, Arya. Like forgot what the character's name is, but yeah,
Man
and
of
then
Many Faces was it? Yeah.
and she was doing the same thing too.
Okay. Yeah.
Except she goes blind, I think, because she doesn't do something that they want or betrays them. Or
Yeah. You mentioned YouTube. I've been watching a few of your stories being read out on Tall
okay,
Tale TV on YouTube. There's loads of them there, isn't there?
is that? I'm sorry, what?
The Tall Tale TV podcast on YouTube. There's loads of your stories being read out.
Yes, by Chris Herron. He's done a great job with a lot of my stories.
Yeah.
Most of the stories on Tall Tale TV are dystopian.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed listening to them, watching them. You've got a prolific backlog of catalogue work on Amazon. Is it 14 books in total, or have I not counted correctly?
Actually, I've been chopping a lot of them down. It used to be a lot of short stories on
Yeah.
Amazon Kindle for 99 cents.
Yeah.
And I started doing that in 2012 after my open heart surgery.
Yeah.
But that was before I knew what I was doing. And then
Oh,
after that, I watched a lot of writer videos on YouTube, read a lot of writing articles,
yeah.
and learned a thing or two about editing. So I've significantly reduced it to a certain group. Um, Nameskeeper would be one of them that's
Hmm.
still there.
Okay. Open heart surgery. Are you fully recovered? That's major. Life changer.
Yeah, it was a difficult procedure. There were complications, and I had to go in at the end of that year. But now, thank God, everything's good. So it's just 6 month checkups.
Oh, good. Did you have full medical insurance?
Yeah, yeah, thank God for that.
Yeah, not off, yeah. What would happen, this may sound like an offbeat question, if you didn't have that insurance? Would it have still gone ahead, the operation?
Funny story. When I met the heart surgeon down in Manhattan,
Yeah,
my father and I were in his office, and he said, "Well, you have two choices." And I went, "Okay." So choice one, you could do the heart surgery. I
yeah.
went, "Okay." Or choice two, you could die. Great face, no sense of humor.
Yeah.
He was serious.
Oh,
So medical insurance and no medical insurance, yeah, that surgery was going to happen regardless.
yeah, yeah. So we take it for granted in the UK. We've got the National Health Service where everything's free. And there's a couple of local heart and lung hospitals in Liverpool we're sort of blessed with. Joe, I was looking at your website earlier, and it says on there that you mentioned then you've cut it down, sort of, the writing rate, that you post a story on Medium monthly. Is that still ongoing?
Oh yeah, that's definitely still going. So on Medium, definitely posting poetry on there every now and short stories.
Yeah.
Trying to gear my short stories now to publications.
Okay.
So I just got one published in the horror scene, and I got another one accepted in Sirens Call Publications.
Brilliant.
But also with everything I've been going through surgery wise with the
Yeah.
heart, gynecological roller coaster I've been caught on. I've
Yeah.
been writing little memoirs on Medium too.
Okay. Tell us about Medium. Do you use that sort of as in a way like a beta reader to get reactions or reviews or comments? Or is it just like a, I don't know, a public forum where you can sharing your work?
I think it's both. I think it's both for me to have an outlet to talk about what's going on in my life, and it's also for people to connect with me and see like what hits with them, what doesn't.
Okay. You mentioned then a couple of publications. There's quite a few. Is there one story in particular that you're most proud of that you've had published?
I would say that would be a short story called "The Ticking" with Transmundane Press,
Oh yeah.
and I keep saying dystopian, but I love creating dystopian societies.
Yeah.
And in this one, they don't have the fear of death that we do. At age 13, everyone has to pick a number where they want to die.
Oh,
So people can say they want to die at 21, they want to die
yeah.
at 99.
Yeah.
So in that world, they don't have the fear of death hanging over them. They can live their lives, do what they want, and then
Yeah.
when they reach that ticking point,
Yeah.
they disappear.
Oh, okay. There's an element of Logan's Run about that. You familiar with that? Have you seen that film?
I've heard a lot about it, but I've yet to watch it.
Okay. How often do you write? Are you writing every day? I'm thinking again of the volume of work that's out there. Is it every day that you sit down at your keyboard?
I wish. I'm a secretary during the week,
Or
so
so you're typing? You're typing?
typing, data
Yeah.
entry. So it's kind of draining. So if I don't get myself to write during the week, I'm definitely writing on the weekends.
Okay. Do you for your own fiction writing? Do you put pen to paper or do you go straight to the keyboard?
Straight to the keyboard.
Okay. As I know, well, myself and a lot of other writers I talk to, they say they put it on paper first. So by the time they come to type it up, it's sort of at a second edit in a way.
Well, for the poetry, I have to write it as soon as it comes into my head because I can't maintain it or just remember it.
Yeah.
For the stories, I keep them cataloged in my head.
Oh, okay. Is it full?
Yeah, yeah, it's full right now.
I think of the brain as a sort of computer hard drive. You know, the more you fill it up, the less space there is in there for new things, which is why I can remember perfectly things that happened 10 years ago. But I couldn't tell you much about what I had for tea yesterday. In short term.
I like Stephen King's Dreamcatcher because he kind of describes the mind as this storage room with all these file cabinets that you stick things in, memories or just bad memories or projects or anything. So I kind of keep my mind like that.
Yeah. Can we talk about your books? Names Keeper, you've got 5 in the series. Can you tell us about that?
Keeper's definitely an interesting character. I'm trying to think when she first appeared. I think maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I was just sitting at my computer. I wasn't working on anything at the time. And next thing I know, I'm picturing this diner. This character comes into the parking lot with a body in the trunk. And she basically says, listen, you could write my story whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh,
So she's interesting. She's a damn soul that actually got a get out of hell card free, well, or get out of hell card from. She literally got out of hell, and the deal is that she has to drive around cross country with a body in the trunk.
oh,
She loses the body, she
yeah.
goes back to hell.
Okay, I've started reading that today, and she got like all these police around. They're looking a bit nervous, I think, don't know what to expect. And she said it's Hitler in the car.
Well, yeah, she kind of says to the sheriff, "What would you do if you had Hitler in the car?" And the sheriff said, "I wouldn't let him out." So the body in her trunk
Yeah.
is a really, really bad person that hell doesn't even want. So it's their way of keeping that soul out of hell. And
Okay.
she's not alone. In the last droplet of rain, there's another keeper, and that keeper lost his body in the trunk, so she has to send him back.
Okay. I know you mentioned that the main theme is dystopia, horror. Is there an element of humor in there as well, but black humor?
Definitely dark humor.
Yeah. Well, as I say, that made gave me a smile. Like he would let him out the car for Hitler.
Yeah, I got a dark sense of humor.
Yeah, no, it's great. Can I ask all the books that you've got? Have you published these independently? I know you said they're being published in magazines, but have you gone down the indie route for the books themselves?
Yes. So on Amazon, Kindle on Amazon, I self-published two short story collections. I got like two novels on there that I want to go back and fix at some point, and a poetry collection.
Okay. Have you gone through the hassle and the pain and the frustration of trying to connect with the traditional publisher, or have you just said no? I'm going to indie because you've got more control then, haven't you?
Yeah, no, I definitely went indie. I just wanted to be in charge of it.
Yeah, you can change the prices. You can give things away if you like to attract readers.
I like the 99 cents because I figure this way someone comes across my writing and they go, okay, it's $1. Let
Mm.
me read her work and see if it's any good.
And you've got plenty out there to keep someone really busy.
Yeah.
Who does the editing for you? Do you give it to a fresh pair of eyes, or with you being doing the sort of typing as a secretary, is your editing pretty spot on?
Mostly.
Yeah.
I don't really have anyone I can give my writing to for a fresh pair of eyes. So when
Oh,
I feel that it's ready, I just put it out there and I'll get feedback from people and then I'll go back and I'll fix it and then I'll put it back out there.
okay. Again, that's the beauty of being independently published on Amazon. You can change things, within 5 minutes and have the updated version out there available within 24 hours.
Yeah.
Who does the book covers? Do you get someone to do that, or you doing them yourself as well?
Actually, a lot of them are photographs that I took.
Oh, yeah. I'm just looking at your Amazon page now. There's quite a wide range of photographs. I didn't realize they were photographs at first, to be honest.
Yeah, some of them are local. The name's Keeper, or No Rest for Those Wicked. I'm just looking at the picture behind you.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
One Halloween, I actually got the chance to go to this pumpkin farm where all these pumpkins were carved into like different characters and
Yeah.
pretty cool. They had Marvel pumpkins, they had like a school bus, they had like the Muppets pumpkin. I took a lot of pictures, and that was one of the pictures I took that night.
Okay. I'm looking now on the Amazon page, When the Pennies Fall. Looks like a stained glass window. Is that in a church somewhere? Is it from?
But that's actually based on a house in town, and that's actually the window in that house.
Is it? Beautiful window.
I was asked by the owner to do another story, but more geared towards the history and not fiction. So that's one of the stories in my head right now I have to write.
Okay. I thought it was the next thing I was going to ask you. What are you working on at the moment?
I got quite a few things.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. There's a Stephen King contest to
Oh,
write a horror story, I guess, with things like The Shining or Firestarter, Carrie.
yeah.
So I started working on that before this interview.
Is that a
Uh,
short story?
yes. Yeah, it's called I Won't Be Me Tomorrow. And
Okay.
I love The Shining. I love
Yeah.
the original Shining, I should say,
Yeah.
not the remake.
Okay.
But I love the premise of the hotel and it being evil. And even in Doctor Sleep, they revisited the whole setting of The Shining. So, but it's not the building that's haunted. I mean, there's ghosts there, but it's not what you think it is.
Okay.
I always try to keep my readers on their toes because I know with me, I like figuring things out. So when I get to the ending, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
So I try to throw curveballs in my story.
Okay. Do you do a bit of reverse engineering? Do you have like the ending in your head and then work backwards? So you put like a little couple of red herrings in, to sort of not
Yeah.
not fool the reader, but to sort of send them down the wrong path.
Well, no, I plant Easter eggs, so I'm
Ah,
kind of saying to the reader,
yeah,
okay, if you pick this up, you'll know what's coming next. But if
yeah,
you miss it, good
yeah.
luck.
Okay.
Then after that, I have a science fiction story I want to write.
Hmm,
I mentioned the owner of that house. I have to write his story,
yeah.
and I have another dystopian story I have to finish.
You've mentioned Stephen King a couple of times. What's your favorite Stephen King book or film? One of each, maybe.
In high school, I read The Dead Zone and Firestarter over and over again. I must have
Yeah,
read those.
brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah. they were good, and actually the movies were very good. They
I thought
weren't,
so. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And Dreamcatcher was a great book.
yeah.
Don't see the movie.
No, yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. What about Stand By Me? I think. Oh no, I think my favorite Misery. I think of the film where.
Yeah, Misery's good. Misery's good. Stand by Me is excellent.
Yeah.
I loved the book Hearts in Atlantis,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
I can't watch the movie. I'm so afraid I'm going to watch the movie and it's going
Yeah.
to ruin the book for me. So
It's had poor reviews. What I've seen of it so far.
Anthony Hopkins is good. He's
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
I still don't trust it.
Okay.
There's too many Stephen King movies that just do not do the book justice.
Yeah, yeah. I was reading the writer that wrote the screenplay for Misery, William Goldman. He had an argument. He fell out with the director apparently. Was the scene where, well, spoilers going to come on if you haven't seen the film, but where he gets his legs sort of chopped off in the bed. But the
Yes.
director wanted to change it that his legs were broken by that horrible scene with the sledgehammer.
And the log between his feet.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that scene well.
yeah. I think the director was insisting that sort of near the end he would sort of emerge as a hero, not as a totally broken man. No, he can actually get up, he can walk. Final scenes.
Yeah, but he's scarred for life because he's always going to be seeing Kathy Bates right behind him.
Yeah. Have you ever fancied writing a bit of a screenplay? You've got plenty of variety in your work. You ever had
Well,
a go?
sorry,
No.
funny story behind that. Before I actually even thought of writing novels, I used to be part of Trigger Street, and I used to think Trigger Street. Well, first there was Project Greenlight, and that was created by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. And I got slaughtered, not literally, on that website.
Yeah.
People just bashed me and my writing talent, saying you never could be a writer, you're a terrible writer. And then off Project Greenlight, Trigger Street was formed, and people were, I guess, they had the same experience I did. So that was more of a community. And I was inspired to actually write screenplays. So I did a few screenplays. They're hiding in a drawer somewhere.
Yeah.
But one was a supernatural screenplay, one was a horror screenplay. Maybe eventually I'll go back to them.
Okay. Was that something like the Blacklist? What Scott Myers has set up, where people send in speculative screenplays and they get voted up and they go up a level or something every month, depending what score they get.
Yeah, so you would write the screenplay, you would submit it on the website, and then everybody would give their feedback and they would get like their likes. And my screenplays never went that far, but a lot of people like the ideas in them.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Stephen King. What fiction do you read? Is it similar to what you write about? Is it dystopian, horror?
Sadly, I don't read as much as I used to, which I know I have to fix. So I read, there's horroraddicts.net, so I read their free fiction. Medium's got a lot of great writers, so I'm always reading their stuff. And it's a variety now. It's not just horror, not just science fiction. I read anything. So like yesterday, and I forgot her name, but I read a drama story that was really good, really sad.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
And also, I read Scripts Magazine online, and I also share whatever articles I'm reading on Twitter.
Yeah. Have you got a quiet space where you do your writing? You've got like a little office area.
Yep, my bedroom.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds cozy.
My family knows that I write to music, so they know when they hear music playing,
Yeah.
don't disturb me.
What kind of music do you play? Is it whatever's there? Have you got a particular
Well, I have an
band?
iTunes playlist, but I listen to everything. I listen to jazz, rock and roll, even a little rap, and some
Yeah.
country.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think a lot of time music can inspire. I think it can sort of helps create a mood, maybe, to get you in that special place where you need to be when you're writing.
Yeah, one time I was on watching YouTube, I was watching a video from Ships Have Sailed, and next thing I know, it just inspired me to write this poem that I then put on Medium. And I actually let them know about the poem once it was published.
Yeah.
So they said they really liked it.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. When you're writing, do you plot the story first, or you just is it free flow, whatever comes? You got bullet
Sometimes
points?
No, my brother's the plotter of the
Yeah.
family. He's a nonfiction writer, but and also fiction.
Oh yeah.
I'm more of a pantser,
Yeah.
but sometimes I'll write the scene and then I'll move away from the story, and then the next scene starts unfolding in my head.
Yeah.
Then I go back and then I write that scene, and then the next scene unfolds in my head. So I'm a little bit of a plotter too.
Okay. Did you ever find that the characters sort of come alive by themselves and they move away from what you intended to write?
Yeah, I've had that experience. So I've had short stories that I've written that are basically okay, it's a short story, and I've had short stories like Keeper,
Yeah.
where they basically do what they want. So I'll do it. I'm like, okay, I want you to go do this. And like, no, I'm going over here doing that. It's like, where are you going? So those stories, I say they have a heartbeat. They have a life of their own.
Do you tell people that outside of writing, and did they think it a bit weird? Because I've said that a couple of times. People have looked at me and thought, what's going on there?
Yeah, I'll make comments to my friends and family, and then I see the squinty look on their face, and I'm like, never mind. Like, forget I said that.
Yeah. So I was talking to another writer, Ken Stark, and he said to me something along the lines of, "I only murder people on paper." That was a bit.
I agree with him. I like to say that I have my own rogues gallery of fill-ins, and of course, in real life, I can't do anything about them, but on
Yeah.
paper, I can do something about them.
Someone put a message on Twitter the other day. Was it yesterday? Something along the lines of, "If I hate you, I will I will name my character after you, and you will die painfully."
I saw that.
Wasn't you, was it?
I think I retweeted that.
uh,
I've been
okay,
just butchering people I don't like lately, so right
yeah,
now they're safe.
yeah. Have you ever seen that computer game, The Sims?
No.
No, it's where you create like a sort of family, and you I don't know, you put the decorations and you furnish the house, and they have neighbours come to call on them and things. One of my nieces in Birmingham, she started playing the game, and there's a couple of neighbours that she didn't like, and she murdered them within the game, and people were a bit disturbed, but I thought it was funny.
I probably would think it was funny too.
Yeah. Do you know, I might edit all this bit out. People think we're serial killers or something. Oh.
Mm,
Can I ask you a stupid question I've never asked before? But
sure.
I thought of it. If you had one magic wish to do with writing, what would it be? Would it be a bestseller or a film adaptation of one of your stories?
A long time ago, I wanted my stories to become movies,
Yeah.
but that was before Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime. I really like the series format, and it doesn't have to be 13 episodes. I like the series that are 6 episodes or 10 episodes, and
Yeah.
I know that my stories would really thrive while doing that.
Okay. Do you think there's more opportunity now for writers to get into the industry because of Netflix and Amazon?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
you just got to figure out the door.
Mm,
I guess maybe there's contests you could enter,
mm,
or the usual if you know somebody that knows somebody.
mm.
I don't think I've reached that point yet.
Yeah. Well, one of the guys, I was talking to a screenwriter, and he teaches screenwriting, and he was saying the best way to connect with agents to get your work sort of pushed out there and other professionals in the industry is to just chat with them on Twitter. You build up a relationship. You could be chatting to them now. How are you today? Or something for 3 months, and then you hit them with, "Yeah, look at my screenplay, look at my story." But if you build up a bit of a relationship with them,
I just saw a YouTube video about that, that agents love Twitter. And I was watching the video going, yeah, right. But then I'm watching the video going, oh, that's a good idea. So
hmm,
after
yeah,
watching the video, I actually added 2 agents to my following.
oh
I
yeah,
don't know if I'm going to start talking to them,
yeah,
but if I see like their posts, I might try to interact with them.
okay. That's how we've connected through Twitter. Do you use other social media platforms? Do you use TikTok and Instagram and Facebook? No.
I stay away from TikTok and Instagram. I tried Facebook a long time ago. I even had an author page there,
Mm,
but after a while, it wasn't working.
mm.
And I have more of a response on Twitter and also LinkedIn. LinkedIn is good.
Is that the best vehicle for you then, Twitter? That's the best for you promoting your work?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, definitely Twitter, and LinkedIn would be like second to that.
yeah. How often do you use Twitter? I know a lot of people maybe use it. I know I use it too much. I'll come off it and I think get down to writing, but inevitably I'll sort of edge back onto it, within half an hour. It becomes addictive in a way.
It's very addictive. I'm on Twitter every day, and then there's times where I'm on it too much. I'm going, okay, you got all these stories in your head to write. It's like, get off Twitter.
Yeah. Catch up with them. Do you know one of the best things I like about it? You see news events happening first. Quite often I'll see someone posting something, and the next day it's headline news in the UK. You're like, you've seen it first,
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, you see, that's a good thing about Twitter. You get to see things first,
yeah,
and you get to see a lot of accomplishments from other writers too. So I always like and retweet their tweets, and I always say congrats to them.
yeah. What so someone mentioned the other day, we asked them what advice would they have for an aspiring writer to build up contacts. And they sort of said, well, actually build up a conversation with other writers rather than just posting out, buy this book, build
Yeah, I
up.
don't. Uh, people do that to me. I'll
Yeah.
like someone. Next thing I know, I get a DM saying, "Hey,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah," and
That's
it's
a
like,
pain, isn't it?
no.
Yeah,
We're occasionally I will buy their book, but most of the time I delete those messages.
yeah, yeah. That's it is, but it's intrusive in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm friending you and I'll support you, but
Hmm.
please do not spam my inbox with
Yeah,
your latest book.
yeah. What I usually say when I'm arranging these chats, I usually send a message first. Hi, is it okay to send a DM? And 99% of the time I say, yeah, yeah, please. And then you don't feel as though you're intruding.
Yeah, and that's fine. And occasionally I get people to message me and say, I'm sorry to bother you, but can I ask you a writing question? And I
Mm,
go, yeah, ask away. And then
mm,
try to answer it as best as I can.
yeah, yeah. I always finish with, what advice would you give to an aspiring writer? A lot of people I speak to say, oh, I've got a book in my head, but they're not getting it down on paper. What advice would you have?
I would say I didn't have a support structure with my writing. And unfortunately, there was a period of time where I gave up writing and I slowly went back to it. So I realized after that point, it's on you. It's you that has to keep writing. You can't expect other people to cheer you on, help you, especially if you don't have that in your life.
Mm,
So for aspiring writers, even if they feel like giving up, that nobody's there for them, nobody's saying, "Hey, that's a good story," just keep writing. Because
mm,
then they're going to regret it if they stop like I did, and they're going to lose time like I did,
mm,
when they maybe during that period of time they could have really wrote something.
mm. Yeah. In many ways, it's a lonely occupation, writing, isn't it? It's just you and your imagination on the keyboard.
It is, but I'm fine with that. Maybe at
Mm,
one point in time I wasn't, but
yeah,
now I am.
you're at peace with that. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, good. Well, on that note, let me say thank you very much for chatting with me. I've really
Thank you
enjoyed.
for having me.
Oh, I've really enjoyed it. Well, let's keep in touch as we have been on Twitter. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. But for now, Melissa, thank you.
Thank you.